That's me. Oh, sorry guys, I think I didn't unmute myself. Let me explain again. So all I was saying is Fadza had asked a critical question, and that critical question comes in this way. They've captured the iris data set and then saying they've got 3 classes or 3 species, right? But in actual sense, it seems they've got what, 2 species. Because if you're going to group these, they give you a species which probably those observations will be 100. So you've got Sequoia and another species with 100 what species. Then you realize there is no misclassification. So what about misclassification? Suppose an observation has been under classification by an analyst. He has classified them into 2 groups. But according to clustering techniques that we've developed, you realize that in our case, something that has been classified as vesicolar and is in cluster 1, there is nothing. So there is no misclassification there. But suppose maybe we had 20 observation here, there was a misclassification because vesicolar, they've classified it as what? As 1. So this shows that our data is what? It's more accurate. Right. Suppose you're going to consider 3 clusters. Let's try three clusters and see what happens. Right. Is it? Yeah. 3 clusters. Let's try 3 clusters. Right. And see what happens to 3 clusters to our grouping, right? See what happens now. It says, let's look at Viscola and Virginica, right? Viscola, it's under cluster 2, we've got 2 and 39 and what, and under Virginica, we've got 14. So what it tells us that you see the Vesicola, right? There's 11 and what, and 36, right? So basically, you have got main arguments to come up on the table to say the number of clusters that you have selected is 2. Are they appropriate or are they optimal, or should you consider 3 clusters? So you need to have an argumentative way to argue your results in this way. So I want to hear your argument. What comes on these results now if you consider k is equals to 3 or you consider k clusters? Let's have an argument on that. Is it, what's appropriate? Is it k is equals to 2 or k is equals to 3? And what's your take? So anyone? You can go ahead, guys, and let's discuss what's on it. Is it k number k is equals to 2 or k is equals to 3? Based on the crosstab that we have here. Kelvin, go ahead.
What I think is that 2 clusters, I think they are appropriate, because if we look at the data, those 2 classes, that is Vescola and Virginica, they've got something which is common, because you can see that as you alluded this on your RR studio, those 2 classes, that is in class 2 and in class 3, they've got some intersecting numbers. So those, I think we can take them as good as one class, because they are intersecting. That's what I think.
That's Kevin's argument. I think he's looking at the aspect of intersection of overlapping, right? Probably there are 4 clusters. What do you think? Probably there are 4 clusters. If you're going to look at the plot that is onto my right, you see how many sets do you have to avoid overlapping. You've got this cluster, right? And the top part, this one, right? And the intersection part, and the other part, that one, right? Probably can try k is equals to 4. What do you think? That's the analysis now part. you need to argue. He has said there's an aspect of overlapping, right, Kevin? And let's try and see K equals to 4. But based on all the validation measures, they have told us the number of clusters, right? So you need, let's look at 4 and see the plot, right? I've changed here. Let's see the plot and also see the what? The table, right? Let's do the plot. Now the plot suggests something different. You see, the more you increase the number of clusters, there is a lot of overlapping. Let's see what happens on the table.
Sorry, sir. May I ask? By overlapping, what do you mean? I think I'm lost.
You see, okay, in this, okay, let me do this. In this graph that I've given you, right? Yes, I will come back to you, Fazai. In these graphs, right? Can you see that the set in orange, right? It takes other observations in what? In the set that is in blue in color, right? That means it takes the observations that are classified, the observation that can bring a set there. That's what I mean by overlapping. Or a set overlapping covers another set.
Okay.
So let's look at the table. Now it's 4. But I think Setosa on its own, you see, it brings on to 25 and then 5, it partitions there. This is what I want your thinking, you guys, to be able to do. I want such thinking for you guys to have it. These are the questions that you probably asked. Why did you consider K equal to 2 or 3 or 4? Because you can't only tell us about overlapping. You can't only tell us about overlapping. So let me go to Fadzai. Fadzai, yes?
No, I wanted to help
Your what?
So I wanted to help Tinashe with the overlapping concept.
Oh, you can go ahead.
I think we can just view our data as sets, isn't it? When sets intersect, that's when the two have a common point that we call the intersection. Same with our data, the points where the graphs are intersecting, that's the overlapping part, because the data, they share common characteristics.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so what do we call the data outside? Like the dot on the top.
Excellent question. I want you to reply yourself. What is that? Fadzai. I think isn't it in the notes? We talked about this in the notes, right? Go ahead, Fadzai.
I think those are unique data sets that do not share any characteristics with the ones on the intersecting or overlapping data. They are distinct.
What are those? I think I said it in the notes. I think how many steps? Are there 5 data steps? How many steps? I talked about these observations. What are these? Because when I give you a data set, right? First thing that you need to do is to look at a lot of things. Can you someone mute? Was there a feedback? So I was saying to you, when I'm looking at before you actually do the analysis or the come up with better visualization, there are things that you have to do. But when you're looking K equals to 2, right? Let's look at K equals to 2, whether that exists or it doesn't exist. You see, it still exists, right? What do you call those things? Fadzai.
Aren't they outliers?
Absolutely excellent, Fadzai. This we discussed in the notes. Those are outliers. So when I give you a data set, you need to detect the outliers. So do all the steps that I've given you in the notes before you actually do the analysis.
So it's good if we remove those outliers, right? So we need them.
Yeah, you can remove them because they can affect your results somehow. So there are many ways of, probably you have to find out how do you deal with outliers.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I heard from that's it. So on you've got election Thursday, right? So election Thursday, you're going to finish up on clustering. We're going to look at model-based clustering, which is absolutely distinct from, is different from what to call this, the other clustering. And so I think I would write what I expect you from the report, guys, so that you can now start on the report. I'm sure you've got your data sets, and now you can also deal with what? With your report. But honestly, your report, I don't want, on the main report, like the first few pages, I don't want the other code. The other code, you can put it in appendix. What's key for me, it's for you to explain these results, right? And argue, right? What is it? What does it mean? Right? Why is it good? This is your technical skills. By the time you go to by the time we finish the course, I'm sure guys you would have learned it all. So it's about you putting this. So there will be more assignment. So this assignment is due on when do you want to submit it? Because you'll be done on. There are more assignments that are coming. I think there are 4 assignments because we need to do 4 modules. We need to do clustering, finish clustering. We do multidimensional. We do random forest model. We do logistic. Those 4 will be enough. And every it is with an assignment in groups.
I wanted to ask if it's advisable to either use a data set with more observations or fewer observations.
Who is talking? What she is saying? So the assignment, this one is due on Monday. Is due on Monday in groups. And the same groups are going to continue them until we are done with the course. And you should be knowing. It's up to you if you decide not to participate. I still remember when I was doing my master's, we would be given an assignment or a report or a project. I would end up writing alone. But who has learned? Myself. So if you decide not to participate in a particular group, it's up to you. But at the end of it, who knows what you're going to come up with in life. Yeah. So we are done for today's lecture. Yeah, I think that Tina has got a question. You can go ahead.
There's someone who was asking for you to share the other script, so I just wanted you to tell him that you will send it.
Hello, I think I've sent the other script file. If you check on our WhatsApp group, right? There's a file that is on a zip file after the packages. I'm putting a question mark on that other script. You need to unzip the file, and then that's the other script. But the analysis yourself, you're going to do it, your own report, you're going to do it in Python. You have to learn R on how we did it. Do it in what? In Python. So learn it in R, just a few days, and then you go to Python.
I see. I wanted to ask for the data sets we're using in clustering, is it advisable to use a data set with fewer observations or more observations?
I would advise you guys to use more data sets, because the data that you're going to be using, probably you may want to work at Econet. We're dealing with data set of volumes, right? Remember, looking at data mining. So data mining, you can get volumes of data, big data, right? Why do you want to use few data sets? Because you realize files will not be compatible with you guys. I'm sure if you get big data, I had some we have got the data set from what called USARS or criminals. A criminal data set. It's one of the data that is available. But what is key to me is not about those outputs, it's about your argument. I know that data, I've used it years back. So I know that data. The the crime rate of United States.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would advise you get your flexibility by using complex data sets.
Okay.
Yeah, you learn more. Any other questions before we end the meeting today? So if there are no questions, have a good day.